Life Philosophies Unleashed.
Hey, have you ever wondered why in the 21st century we're still talking about the second coming of Christ? I mean, with all the technology, science, and modern thinking. Why does this ancient prophecy still hold such a grip on our imagination? Well, buckle up, because today we're going to dive into something truly eye-opening, the truth about this cosmic event. And it might just be way more profound than what you've heard in traditional church settings. You see, while many people are just passively waiting for some grand celestial event, few realize that the key to this divine return might actually lie within us. Imagine for a second if you could unlock a knowledge so powerful that it would completely change how you see reality. What if I told you that the signs of this return are happening right now? Right in front of your eyes, but in ways that most people don't even notice. This isn't just another video about biblical prophecies. It's an invitation to embark on a journey of self-discovery that could change your life forever. The first sign, the emergence of false prophets. Let's kick things off with the first sign, the emergence of false prophets. Now, this might sound a bit old school, like something straight out of a Sunday sermon, but it's more relevant today than you might think. Think about it. In a world where everyone with a smartphone can become an expert, it's getting harder to tell what's real from what's fake, right? We're bombarded with information, but how much of it is true? How often do we find ourselves following the latest guru, the next big trend, only to realize it's all just smoke and mirrors? These false prophets aren't just religious figures. They're everywhere on our social media feeds, on TV, even in politics. They promise us the world, but often what they deliver is hollow. This isn't just a biblical prediction. It's an observable phenomenon that challenges us to sharpen our discernment. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack of half-truths. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about spotting the fakes out there. It's about recognizing the false narratives we tell ourselves. The stories that keep us stuck, that stop us from discovering the deeper truths of who we really are. So, what can we do? We need to become our own prophets, in a way. We need to cultivate a sense of discernment, not just about what we hear and see, but about our own thoughts and beliefs. It's about cutting through the noise, tuning into that inner voice, and finding the wisdom that's already within us. The second sign, wars and rumors of wars. All right, moving on to the second sign, wars and rumors of wars. This one is a bit heavy, isn't it? I mean, just turn on the news, and it seems like the world is always on the brink of conflict. But let's go deeper than the headlines for a moment. Wars aren't just fought with guns and bombs. They're also fought within us, battles of the mind and heart. Think about the internal conflicts we face every day. The struggle between what we want and what we think we should do. The tension between who we are and who we aspire to be. These wars can be just as destructive as the ones fought on battlefields, and they leave scars that are often invisible. In this sense, wars and rumors of wars can be seen as a metaphor for our inner turmoil. But here's the good news. These conflicts aren't something to fear. They're actually opportunities for growth. Just like how pressure turns coal into diamonds, these internal struggles can help us refine our character and deepen our understanding of ourselves. So the next time you find yourself in the midst of an inner battle, don't shy away from it. Embrace it as part of your journey. It's through these challenges that we find our strength, that we uncover the depths of our courage and resilience. And remember, peace isn't just the absence of conflict, it's finding calm in the midst of it. The third sign, famines and earthquakes. Now, let's talk about the third sign, famines and earthquakes. When you hear those words, what comes to mind? Probably images of natural disasters, right? And sure, on one level, that's exactly what they are. But there's a deeper layer here that we often miss. Famines don't just mean a lack of food. They can also represent a spiritual hunger, a longing for meaning, for connection, for something more in life. And earthquakes? They're not just physical tremors. They can symbolize the seismic shifts in our lives that shake us to our core. Maybe you've experienced a spiritual famine at some point times when you felt lost, empty, like something crucial was missing from your life. Or perhaps you've gone through an earthquake, a moment when everything you thought you knew was suddenly upended, leaving you to pick up the pieces and rebuild. These moments are tough, no doubt about it. But they're also turning points. They're the moments that push us out of our comfort zones and into a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. It's like the universe is giving us a gentle, or sometimes not so gentle nudge to wake up and pay attention. So, how do we nourish ourselves during these famines? How do we find stability when the ground beneath us is shaking? It starts with seeking out that which truly feeds our soul, whether it's through meditation, connection with others, or simply spending time in nature. And when the earthquakes come, we don't run from them. Instead, we let them shake loose what no longer serves us so we can rebuild on a stronger foundation. The fourth sign, the persecution of the faithful. All right. Now we're getting into some really challenging territory with the fourth sign, the persecution of the faithful. This one is tough because it speaks to something deeply personal, our beliefs, our values, our faith. Throughout history, people who've stood up for what they believe in have often faced resistance, ridicule, and even persecution. And let's be real, it's not easy to stay true to your path when the world seems to be pushing back against you. But here's the thing, persecution, in whatever form it takes, is actually a test of conviction. It challenges us to dig deep and ask ourselves, how much do I really believe in this? How committed am I to my path? When we face opposition, it's an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to our beliefs. It's a chance to stand tall in the face of adversity and to keep moving forward, even when the road is rough. It's like a refining fire that strengthens our faith and our resolve. And remember, persecution isn't always about external forces. Sometimes, the toughest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves, the doubts, the fears, the second-guessing. But when we persevere, when we stay true to our path despite the challenges, we come out the other side stronger, more resilient, and more deeply connected to our true selves. The fifth sign, the great falling away from faith. Next up is the fifth sign, the great falling away from faith. This one's particularly interesting because it seems like we're living in an age where traditional religious beliefs are in decline. More and more people are stepping away from organized religion, seeking spirituality on their own terms. But here's the twist. This falling away doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, it can be a catalyst for something much deeper. When people step away from the confines of dogma and tradition, they often start searching for something more personal, more authentic. They begin to explore different spiritual practices, to seek out their own experiences of the divine. It's like breaking free from an old shell and stepping into a new, more expansive understanding of spirituality. So, what might look like a loss of faith on the surface could actually be the beginning of a spiritual renaissance, a time when people are reconnecting with the sacred in new and meaningful ways. It's about moving from inherited beliefs to personal convictions, from rituals to real experiences. This is a powerful shift, and it's one that invites each of us to take our spiritual journey into our own hands, to ask the big questions, to explore the mysteries, and to find our own path to the divine. It's about awakening to the truth that spirituality isn't something that happens to us. It's something we actively create. The sixth sign, the global preaching of the gospel. Now, let's dive into the sixth sign, the global preaching of the gospel. Traditionally, this has been seen as the spread of Christianity around the world. But let's look at it through a broader lens. In today's interconnected world, The gospel doesn't just mean one particular religious message. It can be any spiritual truth that resonates deeply with people, that transcends cultural and religious boundaries, and that speaks to the universal human experience. We live in a time when spiritual teachings are more accessible than ever before. With the click of a button, you can learn about meditation from a Tibetan monk, study ancient wisdom from a text written thousands of years ago, or connect with people from all over the world who share your spiritual interests. This global dissemination of spiritual knowledge is part of a larger awakening, a collective movement towards higher consciousness. It's like planting seeds of wisdom in the fertile soil of the human spirit, allowing them to grow and flourish in new and unexpected ways. And here's the beautiful part. Each of us has a role to play in this. By living our truth, by sharing our insights and experiences, we become part of this global preaching, part of this movement towards a more enlightened and connected world. It's not just about spreading a message, it's about embodying it, living it, and inspiring others to do the same. The seventh sign, the abomination of desolation. Finally, we come to the seventh sign, the abomination of desolation. Now, this one might sound a bit cryptic, but let's break it down. In many interpretations, this sign represents a profound moment of choice, a crossroads where humanity must decide between the path of ego and the path of spiritual enlightenment. It's a turning point, a moment of truth. Think of it like standing at a fork in the road. One path is easy, familiar, but it leads to emptiness, to a life driven by ego, fear, and materialism. The other path is more challenging, less certain, but it leads to spiritual awakening, to a life filled with purpose, meaning, and connection. This sign isn't just about a future event. It's about a choice we face every day. Every decision we make, every action we take, brings us closer to one path or the other. And while the choice might not always be easy, it's one that defines our journey. So, what will you choose? Will you follow the well-worn path of ego, or will you take the road less traveled? The path of spiritual growth and enlightenment? This is the moment when we decide what kind of life we want to live, what kind of world we want to create. So there you have it, the 7 signs of the second coming of Christ, not just as ancient prophecies, but as living symbols that invite us to embark on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. These signs aren't just warnings of what's to come. They're guideposts, pointing us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. They invite us to look beyond the surface of world events, to see the underlying patterns and possibilities, and to awaken to the truth that the divine return we're waiting for might just be a return to our own true nature. The second coming isn't just a distant future event. It's a reality we can begin to manifest in our lives right now. The question is, are you ready to take the next step? Imagine yourself a year from now, completely transformed by applying this hidden knowledge. What would your life look like? How would your relationships change? What impact could you have on the world around you? The divine intelligence is waiting for you, but you need to take the first step. If this message resonated with you, if it touched your heart and sparked your curiosity, there's so much more to explore. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because each week we'll be diving even deeper into these mysteries, unraveling secrets that can change your life and the world around you. And if this video made sense to you, write in the comments, "It made sense to me." Let's start a conversation. Let's share our insights, and let's walk this path together.